On today's episode of Comicstorian, we visit an alternate reality of the DC Comics universe. In this reality, things aren't exactly hopeful. In this reality, things are more horrific. Here at this channel, you can find yourself listening to audio dramas, where we recap various storylines within video games, comic books, and movies, allowing you to enjoy the lore of your favorite pop culture universe. And today, we cover DCeased #1. Thunder echoes as blow after blow falls on Darkseid's face, the final punch breaking his jaw, and the Kryptonian steps back. Wonder Woman tightens her hold on the lasso of truth, which finds itself wrapped around Darkseid's throat. The invasion lasted a week, with the entirety of the Justice League mobilized to stop it. "You will leave Earth now, Darkseid," Superman tells the god, glaring at him, and Batman steps forward. "You will not return to our world." "Say it," Wonder Woman snarls, tightening her hold. "The lasso compels you." Darkseid stands, his wounds seemingly having no effect on him. He tugs free of the lasso, turning to an opening boom tube. "I will not return, for I have no need. The truth is, I have what I came for," the cosmic being tells them as he steps through the portal, disappearing. The team straightens up, danger having left their miss. I thought that was going really well, up until that ominous last sentence. Green Arrow quips, slackening the arrow on his bowstring, when suddenly a device on Batman's utility belt begins to chime, bringing everyone's attention to him. "Cyborg's missing," he states simply. "He's not in Metropolis. He's not on Earth." The group doesn't understand how Batman would know that, but he simply tells them that he has a tracker monitoring Cyborg's every movement. He's a walking weapon with Apocalypse technology running through his body and brain, which we've barely scratched the surface of understanding. It would be irresponsible to let that kind of unknown power move freely. The team all stare at Batman as Superman finally asks the question. "Did Vic know you were tracking him?" Batman's silence is answer enough, and anger courses through the Flash as he's suddenly whirling around asking questions. "Do you have a tracker on Superman?" he finally asks. "No." Sighs of exasperation fill the team. "Anyone concerned about the slight pause there?" Green Arrow asks. The team puts aside the question of the morality of Batman's decision for a moment. They need to find Vic. On Apocalypse, DCeased finishes pushing the final stake through Cyborg's limbs, pinning him to a table like an insect. He smiles a toothy grin, questioning Vic on whether he knows of the anti-life equation. He smiles, explaining that it is the end of all free will, that whoever controls the anti-life equation will dominate all sentient races. DCeased continues to preach, ignoring Cyborg's sarcastic comments, when finally he tells Vic that Darkseid has found the final half of the anti-life equation. "In you," the god states as he steps out of the shadows. Cyborg stares at the massive villain, raising one eyebrow. "Were you waiting in the corridor to make a good entrance?" he asks with a slight smile. The Dark Ruler stares at him for a moment before ordering DCeased to take his tongue. With a cackle of glee, the torturer sets about his grim task. Darkseid then asks DCeased if he's ready to begin, and the evil minion informs him that if Cyborg is killed by the merging process, then the anti-life equation will be lost. Darkseid nods. "We must control Victor Stone's end," he states, pulling free his mother box. "I will summon death." Summoned, the Black Racer suddenly appears in the room, with Darkseid reaching out, grasping the deity by the throat. "I have need of you," he growls. DCeased moves forward, using his technology to steal a piece of death. The energy merging with Victor Stone, he begins to chant the anti-life equation. But the use of death corrupts that which is already corrupted in nature. Darkseid can suddenly feel it, scratching at the inside of his mind. And he screams, his fingers clawing at his face. DCeased looks on in fear, and the Black Racer watches with the passivity of death. "It is time for God to die," he intones hollowly. DCeased turns. While immune to the disease, he knows that he must send Cyborg away before all of Apocalypse falls to this. The boom tube opens, and suddenly, the hero is gone. But it was too late. Darkseid lashes out, and the Black Racer falls. He leaps upward, destroying the city in his wake, and finally, he falls into one of the fiery pits, plummeting to the very core of Apocalypse itself. The planet shudders before it explodes, killing all of those that call Apocalypse its home. On Earth, the tube opens, and Victor falls into the streets of Metropolis. He can feel the disease course through him, and he tries to wall it off, yet he is not quick enough. His bloody mouth with no tongue opens to warn those around him Some try to help while others are merely taking pictures in their ever-present smartphones. Merging with Victor, though, the equation has become digital, leaping quickly into the internet. From there, it infects all of those that it comes in contact with. Those that surround Vic suddenly become frightened, their fingers clawing at the flesh of their own bodies as they try to scratch free of the disease that has overtaken them. But the fear disappears and the infection spreads. Victor watches as the frightened turn to rage, and they begin to lash out at those around them. Meanwhile, in the home of Scott-Free and Big Barda, Superman questions his allies about whether they can help him save Victor. Mid-conversation, though, he stops, his super hearing picking up the disturbance in the city. "Can you hear that?" he asks before leaping through the window. Superman looks below the city. The world is screaming. The people fight and they kill below him, blood flowing from their eyes, their ears, their mouth. Fear fills Superman's eyes as he turns towards home. John, Lois. In their apartment, Lois is looking for her phone when John and Damian play a video game. "Damian, where is it?" John asks, looking away from the screen. "You have X-ray vision," Damian responds. "That's actually a good point." He finds the phone on the other side of the room and he begins to reach out for it. But a blast of Superman's heat vision takes it out, and the Man of Steel turns, blasting the TV as well. "Don't look at the screens!" he orders them. "No screens!" But in the Batcave, Batman finishes firewalling the Batcave, and he orders the computer to swing to the analog cameras that are positioned around Gotham. He watches as his city tears itself apart. The people are barely human anymore, attacking those that are left. The Bat computer runs projections. 600 billion are infected worldwide, with the virus spreading to the rest of the internet in a matter of days. "Has the connection been disabled in the house?" he suddenly asks, and the computer voice informs him that it has not. Fear takes over Batman as he suddenly lurches from his chair, ordering the computer to activate the EMP in the manor. Upstairs, the house goes dark. At their apartment, Lois and Clark look out on the city in chaos. "I need to assemble the League," Clark tells her. "Look out there. Who knows what's left of the League?" she tells him. Damian looks down at the radio in his hand, unable to reach his father. The radio is always supposed to work. Superman continues to look out on the city and he tells Damian that Batman will have contingencies in place. He'll do anything to reach Damian. "I've learned to never underestimate your father," he tells him. But at the manor, Batman moves quietly through the darkened house, calling out to his family, and finally hearing Alfred yelling for him from the kitchen. He rushes through the darkness and he explodes into the room, discovering Alfred trying to hold the infected Nightwing at bay with a knife. The zombie rushes forward, with Bruce managing to knock him aside. Feebly, he tries to reason with Dick, but the young man is no longer there. Tim comes in from behind, biting hard onto Batman's arm. "Alfred, run!" Bruce screams as the boys that he raised begin to bite into him, their hands clawing at his flesh. "Run!" And that concludes DCeased, issue number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed our nice tale today. Our tale of horror and fear. Our story of the DC Universe falling to the anti-life equation. This story is good as it actually gives an answer to what is the anti-life equation. What does it do? Why is it so important? Because we've never gotten a true answer. Well, now we know why it's such a scary thing. Don't forget, if you want the next part of DCeased, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be covering this story rather quickly throughout the month of October, so that as it concludes, we will be bringing you the conclusion right here at Comicstorian. And if you want early access to the DCeased storyline, go join our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, or our YouTube memberships. For the lowest tier, you get early access to all of our videos, and we appreciate the support, but either way, thank you so much for watching this video and sticking it out to this very ending. Each and every one of you get a zombie cookie. I wouldn't eat it though. What could happen?